everyone. A very warm welcome to another episode of Psychology Talks, and I'm your host, Amreen Nadeem. And today we'll discuss what does it really take to stand out and live the life on your own terms. I'm so honored to be joined by Dr. Barbara Vokatis. She's professor, award-winning author, keynote speaker, and therapy dog partner. She has faced incredible challenges and transformed them into strength. She is a very inspiring mother. She is a mother of an autistic child, but she deeply understands her struggle as a parent, and she helped her fight or struggle to face her struggles uh, in a better way. Also, she is an inspiration that she is sharing her voice with other mothers and other parents to find their way to walk the path with empathy and innovation. So we're going to talk about her lots of creativities and ideas and her struggles that made her or that gave her the strength. So let's welcome Dr. Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Ambreen. I am so honored, and it's such a pleasure to join you for this chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really inspiring to see that so many things you're doing that to innovate to bring the innovation in education and to help other parents to face their struggles. And not only, I would just say, not only the parents of autistic child, but any parent who are facing struggles with their children to understand them better. So tell us a bit about yourself to let our audience know you better.
Thank you so much. So, in a nutshell, I am a professor. I teach future teachers and current teachers, and I am known, I think, mostly for my innovation in animal assisted education. I take my therapy dog to a local school. We've been doing it for 7 years, actually. It's kind of amazing to be able to do it with one dog, with one animal. And beyond that, yes, I do have an autistic teen. They're autistic. They're also gender fluid. They go by pronouns they them,
Hmm.
and they are 18 years old. So this journey is pretty much 2 decades. I've been doing it, so to
Yeah.
speak. I've been parenting a child with this condition for close to 2 decades. But what I'm doing also too is I'm trying to live an authentic life, both professionally and in my life. So my passion for animal assisted education, and also recently passion for doing something more for the community of neurodivergent people, including children and teenagers. I kind of all work together with also what I try to focus in my job professionally.
Yeah, that's amazing. And before actually we move further to the discussion, I would like to tell our audience that Barbara's book will be launched on October 20th, and as an impact activator, me and Valerie will be organizing a launch event for her. So please join this launch event. There is a registration link in the comments, and we would be really happy to see you there because you will learn that how Barbara started her journey, and more on top of that, there will be lots of other speakers, very inspiring speakers. They will be sharing their views and their thoughts on Barbara's journey and on the book as well. So please do join this. There's a ticker also going on, and there's also a comment, the list to register to the event in the comment. So tell us a bit about your book also, although you will be sharing in during the launch also, but let's just tell us a bit about your book that's
Thank
going
you,
to be published. Yeah.
thank you so much. So I think the book is very special to me. I didn't think of writing this book until I think last year.
Wow.
Sort of all of a sudden, I would say it happened. This idea, for many years, I really have not shared so much about autism. It was just something I kept to myself, and for a variety of reasons, And we always have those reasons at different times of our lives. One of them was I was trying to protect my child, because you never know when you say my kid is autistic. Several years ago, I wasn't so sure what kind of response I would get in the community too. Now my thinking is different about sharing it with not sharing, but it took a little time to arrive at this new thinking. I remember some time ago, I went to some kind of workshop. It was like an online workshop, and
Mhm.
we were asked what we're doing. So I was sharing about animal assisted intervention, education, how I am passionate about it. And then somebody asked, "But why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing what you're doing?" And I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, I don't know, I'm just doing
Mhm.
it. I'm excited about it. It really brings so much joy, and I see how it makes changes for children, both in terms of social and emotional learning, and also learning different subjects. But I haven't really thought about like why I'm doing this, because when you're so busy and doing things you like, you don't really often
Yeah.
reflect on this. And
Yeah.
I thought about it, and actually, it turns out when I more deeply thought about it, it is really connecting to autism and to my child,
Mhm.
because when we got a dog for our child, when Karina was about 10 years old, I remember when I was thinking, what if, since our dog is learning to be a therapy dog, what if I take her to her school and see how children respond to a therapy dog, including autistic children?
Yeah.
Because at that time, I was thinking, there is a system that is supposedly is supposed to help neurodivergent children, but I knew at the time already that that system was not good enough. And
Yeah.
I thought, what else can we do in other ways that would support autistic children and other special needs children? So it really was a huge connection between my animal assisted education and having a neurodivergent child. And that was the first step of thinking about the book. And then really a lot of struggles throughout my child's high school, actually. And again, thinking, what is going on? The system is not really working well. And at the same time, throughout the high school, I was observing my teenager, my Kalina, and saw incredible gifts and talents they were developing. And I thought to myself, I don't have these gifts and talents in the way they have. How is it that these gifts and talents are not recognized so much in school? What's wrong with society, with the educational system? And that was, I think, a really pivotal moment for me that told me, that's it, Barb, you have to write the book.
Yes. Yes, I think your book is amazing, and I think it's so timely that I get to hear a lot about the struggles of the parent. They usually reach out to me and they say that, especially when their children are like suffering from neurodiversity. I wouldn't say this suffering, it's basically having some neurodiversity and they don't know what to do. But as you said, that every child is so intelligent. It's just a matter of just recognizing their strength and using them in a right way. Whereas, as you mentioned, the system is kind of very broken. They only support those who are easily fix in that box, right? So those who are a little different, it's so sad that system does not even accept them. Instead, they actually punish them. So they actually are, no matter how many gifts they have, they are left with nothing and they start to develop something like low self-esteem. They develop depression and they don't know, they think, instead of like realizing that the system is broken, they think that there is something wrong with them and they think
Yeah.
that they are broken, whereas it's the other way around. So I think that's the main, you highlighted very rightly, and I think this is the right time that you've written this book, and it is really really much needed. So I want to ask that, like, as a mother of an autistic child, how did actually shaped your perspective on education and empathy, that they need some some better like understanding or something, how it helped you to learn from them.
I do have a lot to say, but of course, again, it needs to be it needs to be in a nutshell. And also, I do not have thorough understanding of other systems in other countries, educational systems, how they work and how they support neurodivergent children. And I'm sure, just like there's a spectrum of autism, there is a spectrum of how these children are supported throughout
Yeah.
educational systems throughout the countries. But what I can say is that what I've also observed here in the United States in the educational system, a lot of times teachers' time is occupied with many things. And many of those things sometimes have nothing to do with helping teachers in becoming better as far as understanding neurodivergent children and how to teach them. Right now, there are some new perspectives on how to support neurodivergent children effectively. And these perspectives are, to a large extent, not known in educational institution. That is not good. But
Yeah.
again, we can't blame the teachers because teachers are also, they are burnout. They have a lot to do, a lot of to take care of. But again, some of these things they have to think about and do have nothing to do with learning how to support all children better. And that's a big problem. So it's like,
Yeah.
why do we have school? Why do we teach these children? These questions are not revisited, because if you revisited these questions, you would find out that what you would what your goal should be is not matching what you're actually doing in this educational institution. So that is a big problem. And so misunderstanding neurodivergent children, approaching them from the perspective of like, you don't do the work, then you will be punished for not doing the work, but not even trying to understand why is it that they cannot do this activity. We sometimes tend to think that children just refuse to do it because they just don't feel like doing it. My child is not like that. When they want to do the work, but
Wow.
oftentimes they are unable to do the work because there is something they don't understand. They get stuck, they get overwhelmed. Oftentimes they're afraid of talking to the teacher, why they're
Mm,
overwhelmed, why they stuck. They are
mm,
afraid of showing initiative. Why? Because somewhere in the educational system, they were conditioned that perhaps speaking about yourself was not a great idea, or you were not encouraged to do it.
mhm,
Or if you speak a little bit up, maybe you will be laughed at by others, by
yeah.
other students. Maybe you will be picked on or bullied. So these things are not. There is a reason why these children are in the educational system functioning the way they are. But as you can hear me, it is a complex issue because there's a lot to do with education, but there is also probably a lot to do with how parents approach it. Some parents might be a little bit afraid of maybe speaking to school to teachers, or they don't know how. They are intimidated because again, those systems are not developing in a way that make the system user friendly. They are not getting user friendly at all.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I mean, you touched upon on lots and lots of things. One thing that you said that people, especially these children, are afraid to ask questions, and the system actually curbed their curiosity. They said that why. if they don't understand that why it's happening, it's not their fault. They may have some other perspective to look at this thing, but the thing is that the system does not allow them to actually bring their own perspective, and that's kill their curiosity also, that they kill their passion to ask questions. And the other thing is that they're also afraid that people can pick on them, or they can be bullied, because if other people can understand them easily, and if they are not understanding, so they think there is something wrong with them, which is actually not the case. There's nothing wrong with them if they don't understand this, because they might be thinking from the different angle. It's just a matter of just aligning the angle, or maybe just giving them the right perspective which they can understand. Or maybe it's time to actually understand that their perspective might be better than than ours. So it is much important. And that's what, like, as my son always says, that teachers teach in just one, in one way only. And he like, we recently had this a long argument, and he said that why teacher ask us to show the working if they're only interested in getting the right result, right? So if this is something that
Yeah.
if they have to show the working, and again, he point out very rightly that the working they need to show is also needs to be aligned with what they had shown, because he had several other ways to reach to the conclusion or to the result, and if he do it, it would not be accepted. So there are so many things, especially broken in the system, which we can talk about. Your book is the title is Unshakable.
Yeah.
So just tell us about it. That what does it mean for you to be unshakable?
It definitely doesn't mean that you are so strong that nothing nothing phases you,
Yeah.
but to me it means just being able to just knowing what your why is, why you're doing things you're doing, who you support, for whom you do a certain service, such as who I want to support with my animal assisted education. Knowing that really helps me moving forward and providing this work to people who would benefit from it, such as children in school. Now, another mission is to support neurodivergent community, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Children, teenagers, and autistic adults. So knowing this and moving forward is really very important to me. And as you move forward, sometimes there are obstacles and things like that. And well, we know they're going to happen. So if something happens that I cannot control, I just figure out another way or do something different, and understanding that I also can learn from these obstacles or adversities, it will make my goal and my why even better. So that's really all that is. But persistence is actually a key here, I think, in this unshakable sort of term. Being persistent, being consistent is really very important, because it's very easy to just stop what you're doing when you meet a challenge, an obstacle, and it gets a little harder, and it will get harder. And how not to then quit, so to speak, but just keep going.
Yes. You explained it so well, that it's not about that, like, unshakable means that you're fixed, or like you're just so rigid. It's all about that you are so flexible that nothing, or the no any challenge or obstacle cannot shake your determination or resilience. So you explained it so beautifully. Yeah, thank you.
But
So yeah.
if it shakes for a moment, that's okay too. It's just about,
Yes.
and it does. And I'm not going to hide and say that nothing ever shakes me. It does, but it shakes for just a very short period of time.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it can shake you, but it cannot actually take you away from your path. That's what something is this, which is more important. That your goal is unshakable, but of
Yeah.
course your whatever you go through is it can give you a big shake or something that
Yeah,
oh
it
what
does
has
sometimes.
happened.
It does sometimes.
Yes. So that's very true. So I know that as we were discussing that about the system is always kind of prefer conformity, right? When people are similar or when they conform to the system. But it's so difficult when you actually kind of not conforming to the system and you have different idea. So tell us that what challenges have you faced by choosing to be different, or because your book is about that it is unshakable, or it is like you need to have resilience to face all these obstacles
Mhm.
or something. But definitely, it also talks about that being a different doesn't mean that you are broken or something. And so, how many challenges you face to be different?
Uh, I think that the challenge itself, the biggest one really is handling my child's education for so many years in the system the way it is. That's the really biggest challenge because
Mhm.
uh, I don't remember a year that would be like smooth. So there's always something I have to handle, something I have to intervene about. And it takes a lot of work. It's emails, it's phone calls to the teachers, trying to figure out things. Sometimes the teacher is not good, is not responsive. What do you do next? What do you do next? So it's a lot of these kind of this kind of problem solving. Then, as far as somehow the last grade of my child in high school is so far pretty good.
Mhm.
For some reason, there is a really good group of teachers this year, and
Wow.
Kalina likes them, talks about them, and I see there is a totally different spirit that Kalina has as far as the education. But we're talking about the last grade of school. What happened
Yeah.
before that? There was always a challenge. But there were teachers who were, of course, very good, and they made this journey so much better. As far as the challenge concerning what I'm doing, the way I'm doing this advocacy, I think advocacy itself is a challenge. uh,
Yes.
being also on social media, advocating for autistic individuals, promoting the book, speaking about it. I mean, it is a challenge itself, but I haven't ever met um, any challenging comments from anybody who would be telling me that this is not the right thing to do or anything like that. So I don't see my journey in advocacy as much challenging. I think the challenge is probably uh, like, what do you do? How else you can contribute to this advocacy for neurodivergent children, for autistic children? How can I also maybe help other autistic parents to stand up, to
Yeah.
raise these issues, to also become advocating parents. Some parents do this work, but many do not for a variety of reasons, because as a parent of a neurodivergent child, you just don't have the time. You work, and then you have a part-time and sometimes full-time job of supporting, advocating for your child. But I think that how that every parent, no matter how busy they are, they can do something, at least a little, to help in this advocacy, because I think this is very important. If we do not do something, we can't expect that other people will do it for us. So I think that's a pretty good challenge for me right now, how to take this work further, how to connect with more neurodivergent families, but not only because We also need support from communities that are not neurodivergent. Uh, if they understand better the incredible nature of autistic's mind and how autistic mind can contribute to new ideas, work, uh, they will see the brilliance and benefits coming from neurodivergent people too. So how to make this more out there in the public, I think that's always a challenge, and that's probably my biggest challenge right now. Right now, I don't have many more challenges than that.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, but you're doing such a great work already that I know that you will do that as well. That you will
Thank
create a
you.
community or
You
something.
help in quite a bit, that's for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because your mission is so, I was so inspiring that I really love to help this. So
Thank
yes.
you.
So yeah, I mean, you also introduced the dog therapy, right? So what was the moment that you decided that it is the time to introduce dog therapy in the education system, in the education of the kids, actually?
So, and thank you so much for this question. And as I already earlier hinted a little bit, well, the struggles with educational system and having my child in educational system and thinking at that time we have a system, but still sometimes my kid doesn't really feel so great in school, doesn't feel free to express themselves, and what else can we do what can we do to change the way these autistic people feel in school? How do they feel that school is their place? Most of the time
Yeah,
they don't think they fit, they don't think they belong. That's
yeah.
wrong. But So that was really the time when I thought about this. I was very curious to see how I can bring my dog and see what happens in the classroom. I didn't know much about animal assisted education. I did not know. I didn't read literature about it at all. I was just curious to see what's going to happen when I bring my therapy dog to the classroom. And slowly, little by little, I started getting uh, opinions about it from teachers with whom I worked. And it was just absolutely amazing. It was more than I could ever expect because the impact was on individual children who struggle with all kinds of issues in their lives. We had children who did not talk and started talking in school because of my therapy dog. And then we also started seeing that when you bring the dog and intentionally create activities and simple, very simple activities with children and your dog, if your dog agrees to this, of course, uh, you can help in creating better community of children, because this is not just about making education better for neurodivergent children. This is about changing the classroom nature and climate so that everybody sees that everybody counts, everybody is welcomed, everybody has a role to play. It doesn't matter if you are neurodivergent, if you have attention deficit, or you have something else going on. Learning how to be a community together. If you bring a therapy dog to the classroom, uh, what happens is children have to understand how to welcome the dog, how to make sure that the dog is not scared of them, you know, and they'll do anything. They'll do anything to make sure the dog will want to come back to this classroom. So they
Yeah.
learning to take care of the animal. They learning how to behave in a way that doesn't scare the dog. For instance, there's other pieces to it too, and then from that it's so much easy. Oh, my dog is going to bark.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Oh,
you know,
about therapy dogs.
yeah. If she wants to make herself presence, that it's all about her. So yes,
Exactly. But from then you can just really learn so easily. You can teach children to apply this if you take care of your dog, if your dog acts in that way, they are scared of you. Just look at Johnny, look at another student.
Yeah.
You have to be kind to others. You are kind to your therapy dog. You have to be also kind to others. And by the way, does the therapy dog show that she's kind to everyone? Yes, she does. How does she show it? Kids are describing all of the things Carmel does to show kindness. And then it's like, well, guess what? That means that kindness is really important. Your dog is teaching you how to be kind so you can learn from your dog. And they truly learn from the dog. And so that's a incredible way of really changing the climate in the classroom by inviting the representation of natural world, because when the dog comes in, classroom is changed. It's no longer
Yes.
just desks and smart board and teacher computers. The dog comes in, everything's changing,
Yeah.
and that changes a lot of other things, including educational aspects.
Yes, I think it's you brought a very good point here that when you brought the therapy dog, people not o- people children actually started to feel the psychological safety, and then it's something that what they were missing they were trying to give to the dog. So it's their effort to make it the psychological safe environment for themselves and for the dog, and I think
Yeah.
that's how they started opening up. There's a very good comment here. I don't know why the LinkedIn is not showing the name of that person,
No,
but it
I
says
don't know
this.
what happened.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think there was a before one. This one. The helping children feel safe and empowered to speak up in the school begins with cultivating a climate of unconditional acceptance. When we introduce therapy animals to the school environment, we are not just offering comfort; we are modeling compassion, presence, non-judgment. These animals don't discriminate. They don't see disability, difference, or diagnosis. They respond to energy, emotion, and authenticity. Absolutely, yes.
Exactly. So you can learn from therapy animals because there's so many aspects this wonderful person just mentioned. And that's what we want to see developing in kids. They want them to look at everybody in the classroom and not judge them.
Yeah.
The only judgment that's acceptable is positive judgment, right? You're a good person. You have something to contribute to the classroom and to my friendship. We saw children who didn't work with each other start working with each other. And so it was absolutely incredible, and that's why these therapy animals are just so important to bring to educational institutions in responsible ways, because their well-being is just as important as children's well-being. We are
Yeah.
not using them. We are bringing them and include them in creative but also responsible ways in activities they agree to be included in. That's really important too.
Yes, absolutely. Now, just giving me this the question that what do you think? What role do emotional safety and trust play in fostering creativity and learning?
I think it's just so crucial because right now we have so many kids, and including little kids, having high levels of anxiety.
Yeah.
So if you feel anxious, there is something going on. You don't feel safe or encouraged to participate in anything. And you can't learn. The learning is just being literally blocked when you have this other emotional state. Anything such as anxiety is just not working well with being ready to learn. These things just don't work well together. And maybe an adult who is anxious is still able to learn something, even though it's hard. But you cannot tell this little kid to self-regulate and still learn even though they have anxiety. It just doesn't happen. You have to do something different in order to create this a little bit different situation. So we had kids who were very anxious, and I brought my dog and just kind of it shifted their state of mind, their emotions, and they got interested in the dog immediately. And it just changed everything. And not
Yeah.
only their emotions, the more negative ones went away, but they got more interested and engaged in learning. So I think that emotional well-being is just, it's just number one thing. How can you do anything else if your emotions are just not aligned with learning?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I want to ask one more thing. It's just like you introduce animal therapy and it's kind of innovative, right? So what do you think that what is the biggest challenge or like misconception in the education system when you're trying to give some innovative ideas or trying to change the system?
I think basically there's only one challenge, to be
Hmm.
honest. There are not many challenges because this can be fit in any school. If one
Yeah.
school can fit it, that means everybody else can.
Yes.
But the biggest challenge is, let's say, from the teachers. Some teachers think that, well, this is my classroom. I rule. If I let the therapy dog in, I will have a chaos. I can't do what my goal is to do. I will have to like let go my control a little bit, and maybe I'll just not do what I intend to do. So that's a problem. But many teachers who are letting therapy dogs in, they are proving they are proving that sometimes, yes, maybe at the beginning, a little bit of chaos, but not much. We never really had chaos with my dog at all because chaos would scare my dog. So there you have it.
Yeah.
But really, if you let go a little bit of control and think creatively about an activity, maybe an activity you've never even done before, the kids will learn all the things that you planned to teach and more. So don't we want to do that? Teach them what we intended to teach and even more beyond even our planning and goals. And that's totally possible to do. And it happens every time when a therapy dog team works with a teacher. So that is really the biggest obstacle. Just open your mind a little bit and experiment. And by the way, teaching, one of the most important aspects of teaching is experimenting.
Yes.
So if you don't experiment, I kind of question the teachers mindset for teaching if they are just not willing to try anything else, really.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's the biggest challenge is that people are so much stuck to the system that they don't
Sometimes.
want to try the new thing. So I think, yeah, I know we can go on and on for this, but the time is limited. So, what one piece of advice would you give to parents or teacher that who struggle in let's say parenting or in dealing with the children who could be like neurodivergent or even neurotypical, but they may be different. So in dealing with especially children or different type of children, what one piece of advice would you give that how they can deal with them more effectively?
I, I can certainly thank you for this question. I certainly there's a lot of pieces of advice, but one major one that starts really everything is to work on your mindset. What is your mindset as a parent of the neurodivergent child? Do you believe in the potential of your child?
Yeah.
Because whether you don't or you do, it's going to shape everything else you do. How you approach the school, how you speak with the teachers, and how you help your child. So that is number one thing. Everything else falls in place. It's just a matter of learning a little bit more about it and reading books and all that. But your mindset is just really number one thing, and everything starts with that.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful advice because it's so important that at least parents should believe in their kids
Yes.
because if they don't, then that missing thing that will always be part of their kids. So you give such a wonderful advice. I think if all the parents start believing in their kids,
Mhm.
of their potential and something, their kids can do wonders. So,
It's very
yeah,
important because as a parent, you will be hearing all kinds of things from
yeah,
other people, and
yeah,
some of the things will make you even believe maybe my
yeah,
kid really cannot do it. And
yeah.
that's when you have to really reevaluate what you hear and not buy into everything you hear,
Mhm.
really.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think that is the bond between parent and the kid should be really unshakable.
Exactly.
Yes. So that's the thing. So, how can people reach out to you? What is the best way?
Thank you so much. I would love to hear ideas and even just a message from anybody who is interested in this topic. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram, on Facebook, just to mention these three, or supposedly three most important
Yes,
platforms. And I have a website too.
I
The
think I have.
website it is listed on my on LinkedIn. It's also on my
Yes.
Instagram account, and there is an email there too, so I can be reached in that way too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think, yeah, I've shared your LinkedIn in my
thank
comments. So
you.
anybody who's listening, please
Yeah,
get get in touch with Barbara either through the social media or through her website. And
yeah,
please don't forget to register for the book launch that is going to be happening on October 20th. And you will, and please buy the book because I think it's a must-read book. It's much needed to understand that how you can help your child. It's not about this neurodivergent kids. It's for everyone. That, as Barbara just said, that you just need to believe in your child's potential that they can do much better. And how you can do it, that's what she has written in the book by sharing her own journey. So, anyways, thank you so much, Barbara, for
you're
uh,
welcome.
sharing the insights and wisdom that today. And I'm sure our audience must have learned a lot from you. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much for having me. You too have a wonderful rest of the day, Umbrain. It was an
Thank you.
absolutely incredible pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.